after the longest season of our lives,
For real though.
really the longest season of our lives, debates never die is back. It's the off season now. We're finally on our vacation. The season's done. We shouldn't have
waiting for this leave for a long time.
We shouldn't have that much to talk about, and yet somehow we've conjured up another episode. I'm joined by my boys, a new trio, by the way. I like a new dynamic. The first time we've linked. I like this new link up. It's like a new front three. But I'm joined. LLM, you know the story. You know the story. This is what we do.
Yeah.
But to my left, Bones boy, in the flesh.
Come back.
In the
At
flesh.
long last, dog.
In my last
Goodness
He
gracious.
was in the mountains. Oak was actually in the mountains.
Dog, so much has changed.
Honestly.
Dog, his D&D card, he had dreads. He's a new guy.
When
bro.
Malasia came back with
Yeah.
it's a new guy, bro.
Yeah.
Just don't get yourself ousted by association.
Yeah, listen, I'm back. It's been a minute, but it's really good to be back, actually.
Yeah.
I'm just excited. I've got a lot to get off my chest.
100%. And I'm personally glad you're here because I think people who've watched our episodes know that and Kanya and I are next to each other can go either way. So if I have support in Bones, then at least I've got cover. Because I feel like, the way this episode is heading, we're going in different directions. But ultimately, I think now that it's off season, now that emotions are lower, we can focus on what we all love, which is the truth. Telling the truth about what we saw and what we're going to see. That's it. Now we're not in title races. We're not in relegation scraps. We're not chasing finals. We're chilling. Oaks have been chilling. You know what I'm saying? So, I want to start this episode off obviously with the most recent topic in football, which was the Club World Cup. I'm not really going to ask you guys what you thought of the tournament. I think the tournament itself, it was a tournament. It was cool. It was fun. It's over now.
Yeah.
Chelsea won, which stinks. For me, my main takeaway is that that's the last team I would have picked to win that Club World Cup. They get to wear world champions on their thing for the next 4 years.
No, good for them.
I was thinking on the way here, like they're our custodians for football now, to outsiders.
Yeah.
Like the Lakers are basketball's custodians.
Oh,
The Jets.
I don't like where you're going.
The alternative was PSG, Alex. I don't know.
Better.
Why?
Because at least they've been honest about the fact that they're a brand. They are moneyed. It's what they do. And then we kind of like their story. Like they got rid of Mbappe, then they got better, and they got rid of Neymar, Messi, and they just...
I don't think if the Club World Cup ended with a European winner, it could have ever been like a great story.
No, not leave European.
At all. It was going to be Bayern, it was going to be Madrid.
Dude.
It was going to be City.
Exactly.
Those were the best options.
But I'm saying of those, let's go through them. Bayern, football heritage. City, recent football heritage, but they have credibility outside of the sport.
I'm not having it.
Okay, cool. PSG, new story.
Not having it.
New story.
Not having it. They already won the Champions League. I'm glad they
That's what I'm
lost.
saying. New story, and it would have been they were like, okay, cool. That is the best team in the world. Who else did you name?
Dortmund.
Real Madrid football history. Dortmund, no ways. Why were they there? Actually, why were they there?
How did they get there?
Because they made the final.
No,
okay.
points qualifying thing. But I'm saying to you guys, like, Chelsea being world champions is the worst of a bad. You saying it's the worst of a bad list of things to happen.
It could never have been good.
It stinks.
Is my real point.
But the Club World Cup aside, like I've been saying to you guys in the groups and stuff, what I want to talk about is two things. Number one, let's talk about money. Because it seems like that's all we talk about now. And I hate it, right? So the Club World Cup, everyone knows, it was a money spin, right? It was a money grab, you know?
Yeah.
Huge prize pool, and you get this much for winning, and to the group. Chelsea paid off for signing. The player didn't even play for the club when they signed him. When they started the Club World Cup, they signed him, and then they got the money for him.
Yeah.
Like, that shouldn't happen. That's not normal. But I feel like all we talk about now is money and PSR and transfer fees and stuff like that. So my question to you, Oaks, is do you, Oaks, enjoy that? Like, where we are now? Just the constant talking about money and... Like, we're not accountants, Oaks. But I feel like every day we're dying for numbers. Hey, the other day we signed Mbumo. Oaks was saying we got good installments. What? What are you Oaks talking about? We got good installment fees. Like, what are you talking about? Do you like the play or not? Is he going to like installments? So, Bones, I want to hear from you. Like, what's your analysis of where, like, the football landscape now, especially after this Club World Cup? Because normally we wouldn't be having these conversations, but FIFA have thrown this new club competition, which in spirit is a good idea, but a club competition every 4 years, which ends up being just a massive money grab for like a select pool of clubs, like that can't be that good. So what's your assessment?
I mean, I'm also looking at it from the perspective of like the number of games that players play actually, because I think football's become more of a business now. I think we're just
More
more
than
in
ever.
tune. I think
Yeah,
we're more
yeah.
in tune to the fact
Yeah.
that it's a business.
Yeah.
I mean, I used to cry about United actually just being run. It's a business. United's being run as a business. It's not being run as a football club, which is why a lot of the things, or at least why we are where we are, those are really the remnants of those decision making.
We're a badly run business.
Exactly. So I think the business side of things becoming more prominent in discussions is, I think, just a byproduct of us realizing that this and people also like teams and FIFA themselves, they also are trying to, I think, like outside of the actual World Cup with the international teams, I think they are trying to keep their relevance up outside of just
International football.
yeah. And I don't necessarily think it's necessary because when you take into account that a lot of people have already been complaining about the number of games they play like if you're a good team, you play maybe up to 65 to 70 games in a season. Now you have how many? If you got to the final, how many games did you play in the world?
So it was Bakola. He played the most number of games, most amount of appearances, not minutes wise, but I think it was 73.
Okay.
Was it for club and country? I'm not. But
Yeah,
it
club
was
and
him.
country.
Club and country, 73 games this season
Okay. Now
because
that's
he made
pretty.
it to the Club World Cup final.
Now that's pretty intense. Usually, most of the people that get to those numbers the next season, they get injured. When Pedri came through, he had like
Yeah.
70 whatever.
He wasn't smiling.
Yeah.
Nothing was funny then.
But they were all the to the Olympics. They took it too far. They took it too
Hey,
far.
nothing was
He
funny.
played every kind of game.
Nothing was funny that day.
And I think then you say, okay, yeah, but the players are getting paid this money, so it is what it is. But at the end of the day, they still need recovery. They still are humans. So I think we need to be more human centric. I think we need to go back to being more human centric. I think the business side of things is always going to be there. You can't really you can't take that out. But yeah, I don't know. It's a complex.
I feel like that point about being human centered is outside of just footy though. Like there's an issue then where commerce is everything. So
Yeah, even I deserve a break as well.
yeah,
That's fine.
you know,
Yeah.
we want to be human
I
centered.
can also do the holiday, like 2 weeks, not leave, like just stop.
Yeah, like
stop.
that is happening.
Yeah.
No, look. So I hear what you guys are saying, and it's sad, but I think unfortunately we're getting to a point where I think the only way this gets fixed isn't through the organizations. The clubs are going to take the stance on their own and just stop using the players as much.
But
Just learn to rotate.
You say that,
generally.
but let's think about Real Madrid, who, when the Club World Cup was first announced, I don't think it was publicly released by the club, but there was a general sentiment that we're not participating. It's too much for our players. Then it's $1 billion prize pool. From a commercial point of view, it makes no sense to not participate. You know what I'm saying? So it's a catch-22. I don't think what you're about to, or what you're kind of proposing is possible from the clubs, because if we're a board of directors sitting here and the players are outside training and we put a piece of paper in front of us saying, okay, go to America, 100 million in our accounts. Don't go to America, Vinny's fresh for the next season. Like it's
No,
not.
I'm not saying don't go to the tournaments whatsoever. I'm just saying there's to be like an acknowledgement that you have to use your squad differently. That's how you fix it. Like the idea that you just use the same 11.
Is that possible when you're trying to win?
To some extent, the team that's bested is probably finds a way, because you always keep your players fresh. I mean, to some extent, that's what PSG did, right, throughout their season. It's that near the end of it, obviously, I think the only reason Chelsea won was because at the end of the day they were tired.
But I'm saying they were tired because when it was time to win,
But they won the real trophy. So
no, I'm just that. But I'm saying when it was time to win the Champions League, they had one starting 11 and a couple of
but they managed to rotate during the season.
Fortunately, it wasn't a plan. I don't think it was planned.
No, but their squad is big enough for that to be the case. I think what's going to happen going forward is that more teams are going to have to appreciate that you can't just hope you're starting where he's going to play 60 games.
So what do you say to Pep Guardiola, who said, like, I don't want more than 25 players next season?
Let's see how well that works for him.
No, but he's now impacted managerially. That he doesn't want to work with more than 25 because of the way he works.
He has to adapt to what football is now. That's what it is. It's a game where you need a squad. You need different options. You need to be able to do different things.
Yeah, but it's
because players are always going to pick up these injuries. The fact that he couldn't adapt the entire season.
How do you build a squad?
You make sure you have adequate depth. You don't buy.
But you need
looks
rack.
like
You
Nico
need
money.
racks,
Yes,
man.
and they have
Yeah.
the money.
A lot.
Yes. Yeah,
Do
so
you see where we're going with this?
look, football is all about
Only the
money. Now.
only the money will be able to build the squads,
100%.
and only the money will be able to compete.
And that is reality footy right now. We've all agreed that money rules everything here. I'm just saying the only way to counter it is to just actually make use of the coins. That's all there is. There are no. If you can tell me the better alternative,
I do have a
I'm
better
all ears.
alternative.
Let's hear you.
I do have a better alternative. So, after this, you need to sign NDAs because this is my IP that I need to protect. Because this is going straight to the top. This is going straight to Infantino. I genuinely think, and I believe this in my heart of hearts, that we've seen. I mean, football hasn't evolved at the same rate as maybe other global sports in terms of like rule changes and format changes. I mean, NBA got an in-season tournament, like the rugby, Super Rugby changed, and from a rugby point of view, cricket's different now compared to growing up. But like football has remained largely the same for the last in my lifetime. Only very recently we got a new Champions League format, a new Club World Cup. The World Cup is getting bigger. So
VAR.
changes has started and changes around in football. So I think in the beginning there's always pushback towards change, and then eventually we just have to accept things. But I genuinely think that the only way to sustain a level of competitiveness amongst teams, player welfare, and the financial side of the game is to rework the FIFA football calendar. Because all associations play under the auspices of FIFA, right? So the Carabao Cup, the FA Cup, the Coppa Italia, the La Liga.
Yeah.
So you play within a FIFA window. If we're saying that every 4 years there's going to be a Club World Cup, in that year, there should be no domestic cup competitions. Hear me out. Oh, are you crazy? Hear me out. If you're trying to manage the number of games, you know the Club World Cup is coming, right? So you can then, like, the money is there to subsidize teams for the money that they would have got for appearing in those tournaments anyways.
So, wait, you're saying just the teams who are in those competitions don't take part?
I'm saying, does there need to be a Carabao Cup when's the next Club World Cup? In 2029?
Yes.
Why?
What do you mean why? Because the Carabao Cup, the FA Cup, those tournaments aren't for the big teams.
I know that, but I'm saying if we're talking about player welfare in general, like across the board, across the football pyramid, if you know it's coming, you can then make provisions to financially subsidize and take care of teams that are going to have money opportunities in those tournaments to make sure that everyone's okay. Then the maximum number of games you can play in 2029 is 50. And some teams will only play 38 games that season, and they know it. They can plan for that financially. There will be no shortfall because they know it's coming. But the rejig of like you said, you can't just add another football tournament. You just added games. How many games? 3 group games, 7 games, 8 games. Yeah. You added 8 games at the end of the season. Now Chelsea are on holiday while Oaks are getting ready for the season. They might be, let's assume, I'm dapping Chelsea here. Let's assume they wanted to compete for the league next year. They're at a massive disadvantage now. Their season is going to start so much slower. Yeah. But if you knew that these guys knew that they were going to play 8 extra games, but during the season, they were playing 1 game a week, it's a different conversation. I don't have all the information in front of me, but I genuinely believe wholeheartedly in a reworking of the football calendar. Starting in England. Why are there 2 domestic cup competitions? I know how the one is run by the EFL, one's done by the FA, but that's also a nonsense. That's also a nonsense that can be looked at.
I hear you in theory.
Hey, editor, clip this. In the next 10 years, I guarantee you, the football calendar will change. Mark my words. Mark my words.
Well, I mean, look, the fact that the Club World Cup exists is an example of that change. So
I'm talking about a change, not additions. I'm talking about removals now. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about things are going to go away or things are going to be periodic. You can have a Club World Cup every 4 years, then have an FA Cup every 2 years.
FA Cup's not going anywhere. But I think that the change you're talking about is the Carabao Cup likely falling away.
No, don't make it about the Carabao. I'm talking about, for a fact that over a 4-year cycle, you can only ever play 200 games. So let's rework the maths for Real Madrid, who might play in everywhere, but for Burnley as well. For who's in the Championship? Leicester. For Sampdoria. We can map it out and say, okay, cool. They know that next year they could play 56 games, but the year after they will only play 38 league games. And if it's a consensus, because the argument from both camps will be that you're robbing a lot of teams of opportunities when you take away these cups.
100%.
If Man City don't play, then why should these clubs suffer? Okay, cool. The argument is that, okay, cool, but that's a player welfare argument. We're taking care of everyone now. We're making sure that everyone is catered for. From the big club's point of view, Real Madrid be like, okay, why are we losing the opportunity to make more revenue from winning these competitions? You're saying, okay, cool, there's a revenue cap now. Like, you can only ever earn so much money across these 4 years, and it's going to be distributed in this way so that you don't lose your players. Again, it goes back to player welfare. You can't complain about the games, then send your best players to the Club World Cup. Like Kanye says, the statement of intent would have been like, okay, we're going to the Club World Cup, send the B team.
Yeah.
That would have been like, okay, cool, now. But no, they want to win because they know there's so much at stake.
Yeah.
And what's going to happen is if it doesn't change, FIFA's just going to keep dangling this massive carrot. The next prize pool is going to be 2 billion.
Yeah.
The next prize pool will be 4 billion after that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I wholeheartedly believe in that. I don't know what you think.
Bones, you want to go first or can I go?
You go first, actually.
I think that in years like the one we've just had where Palace end up winning the FA Cup, you lose out in the massive story just from that.
Yeah, but they can win it next year.
Hear me out. I think what you propose, winning doesn't work like that, first of all, and you know that. You make that point constantly.
Yeah.
You have windows to win things.
100%.
If SA goes, it's done.
Yeah, but he wouldn't have gone because they wouldn't have won.
But you get my point.
Yeah.
You get my point. So I hear what you're saying in theory, and I like the idea that there should be caps, there should be more regulation, there should be ways to make sure we have less of these issues going forward. I think a maximum number of games you can play, great idea. I just think that the way you're trying to implement it might not necessarily be the way. I think the Club World Cup's biggest thing, generally, is obviously it needed to be now so you get maximum attention in the first version of the new iteration of it. I just think that there are probably other ways and other places you can put the tournament and ways you can make it seem less jarring. I think the fact it's a summer tournament on its own is a bad idea. I think if you
How else could it work? I've thought about this. Like,
I think the way it used to work where those teams would go away for a bit, they'd go to the country that the tournament's being hosted in, and then they don't play those league games. If they were to, and obviously you know the cup games around that time are A, B, and C, then you know that you're not in the Carabao Cup that year. You just aren't, because you cannot manage it. If teams have squads big enough, then you know they can take the gamble. You send the assistant coach, because I remember Klopp doing that one year to a cup game. And they send kids, and then you see what happens. If your team is still there, then you can come back and take part. But I think the Club World Cup's biggest failing is the fact that it has felt like, dog, we are not meant to have football on right now. Like, just, it felt weird.
no,
like
you mean club football. You mean club football.
Club football, yeah. Like,
Because the club World Cup took
no.
the place of
the international football in that time, that's
Confederation
fine.
Cup, yeah.
But yeah, you get my point. Like, it just didn't make sense to come home. Dog, I'm coming back at like 9 p.m. It's like, why is Madrid playing right now, bro? This is not what game is this that I'm watching here? Like, now my opinion of Raul Asensio has gone through the toilet, and I would never have even seen these games. This wouldn't have happened at all. He would have been at home. You know, maybe he's tired. Maybe that's all that actually happened. He ended up in the team because of a bunch of injuries. Not like this was the year he knew he was going to become Madrid's mainstay centre back, and now he's lost an opportunity in the space of 3 weeks because ultimately there's a level of fatigue. He'd never played this many games ever in his life. I think the Club World Cup needs to just be part of the regular season. This feeling of it
I
being
think the
just
issue with that is
lumped
that it's the
is the
only
issue.
global football club competition, right? So
No, I
get
understand
oaks
that.
from Australia and Asia and America
100%.
during the season.
But that's the thing, right? Even in Brazil, like the season ends around December, so you catch them just near the tail end. I think if you have it in the time it used to be in, you get as close to a normal version of it as possible. You then just have to acknowledge that, okay, these other domestic competitions, if you're in it, you're not now, because you have the chance at a bigger
As in,
thing.
you're not allowed to participate, or it's a choice of the clubs?
It's a choice for the clubs.
Yeah.
If you burn your players out, then those players then know that, okay, the clubs aren't taking this seriously here. I'm for your mandate, but I just don't
only
think
thing I'd say to that is
happens.
I don't think, in my vision, I have the clubs being given an option. That's the thing. I think it should be set. It should be mandated. Cool if you qualify.
I just think it takes a rising action before that happens, though.
This needs to happen now, so that by 2029, because there will be another club.
That's what I'm
World
saying,
Cup.
but we haven't had the rising action. As in, we either need this mass number of injuries with the players, then protest, or the
No,
clubs
but we
themselves
can't wait for
protest.
that.
I think that's what's going to happen.
I don't think that'll do anything, to be honest.
Think
I
about
think
it.
Vinny doing his hamstring next season and not João Pedro. I think Oaks, who played a lot of games, and Valverde doing I don't think that's going to do anything. People will be like, oh, you see, but
Nothing else.
nothing else.
Look, I hope it goes your way.
Nothing else.
The way things have been going, I doubt it.
Bones?
I think I'm more along Kanye's sentiments in terms of not necessarily taking it outside of the actual club football calendar, finding a way to kind of put it, like, coalesce it there, and then those teams that are involved in that, I think, be given an option whether they participate if they're still in those club competitions when they overlap, whatever. I think that probably just makes the most. I think just from a logistical standpoint, it's probably the easier way to do things because I don't know the the way that you've done it. I just.
Look, I'm fleshing the idea out. It's not
No,
perfect.
no.
It's not perfect. It's not perfect. I
I'm not
acknowledge
even
that.
Not married to
just-
the
I
idea.
acknowledge
It's a
it,
nice
yeah.
idea.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
acknowledge
yeah,
it.
yeah.
No, I'm like, we're workshopping
Yeah, okay,
it now.
100%,
We're workshopping
yeah.
it. So I'm just thinking.
I know
like,
it's on Oaks say Tab's idea. Tab's idea.
no, it's just like the premise that some club commentators get taken off and then teams get subsidized, and I think that's also just a lot of costs that FIFA wouldn't want to be implemented.
They got $1 billion, dog, to give away right now. FIFA, I
I
don't
get
hear
it.
anything.
Coins.
I don't want to hear anything from FIFA about costs. I don't want to hear about it.
I get it, but I think I just don't see them wanting to go through all of those hurdles to do it in that sort of structure.
Look,
but I don't necessarily.
yeah.
But I do agree that it needs some sort of reworking, some reshaping, because at some point the players are going to suffer, and as a result, we as fans are going to suffer.
As a
We're
result,
going
we're
to be
already
seen.
suffering.
Yeah, we're already suffering.
We're already suffering.
We're not seeing the best players out there. We're not seeing the best. We're not seeing teams be at their best, which
RIP
takes away from
Musiala.
which takes away from the product. So yeah, it's again, it's a very complex situation.
Look, yeah, the goal of today was not to get to a conclusion, but I just encourage everyone to just we have to find another way
Yeah.
to try and
Because the current way is just not optimal.
yeah, it's
Just
not gonna
really
it's gonna end in tears for a lot of people.
Yeah.
But that is a perfect segue about ending in tears. You brought it up now, but we're already suffering. I have another thing I'd like to get off my chest, but this is an open conversation.
Yeah.
And I'll start with I'll look at the camera and say this. I don't think a lot of you guys watching this and your friends and us, I don't think we like football that much anymore. I can see it. I can feel it. Oaks don't like football that much anymore. I think Oaks are just talking to talk now. Because it's going on X is cancerous now. Some of the stuff you're made to consume about football now, like I told you, people are celebrating installments, bro. They worry about FFP, they're talking about PSR, bro. You can't try to have a conversation about football. Wow, what did he win? Ballon d'Or. Like, Oaks, what happens to just 90 minutes watching it and talking about it then and there? Oaks are talking about PSG being the best team since 2011 Barca.
That was bullshit.
Relax.
I think Chelsea had
Not-
to win the moment that conversation started.
Not everything has to be a take.
Everything swung.
Not everything has to be a take. Not everything has to be
Yeah.
a hit.
Yeah.
Not everything has to be...
Just enjoy the game.
No one is enjoying it, bro.
Yeah.
No one is enjoying it. So, as much as I'm being facetious about it, I genuinely... Have you guys noticed the shift? Am I whining? Am I whining for saying that? That Oaks don't like football anymore. The other day, someone who watches this podcast, one of our friends, did a whole thread on why Yamal shouldn't win the Ballon d'Or. He's a Madrid fan. It had nothing to do with football. He was talking. He brought up stats from this year. He said, Ribéry did this. I said, my man, did you watch Yamal? Do you watch the kid? He's 17.
You're not gonna see this again.
You just don't want him to win. And I'm
Yeah.
like, that's not normal anymore.
No, that's the cult nature of a football fan. You added he's a Madrid fan. That immediately that little caveat.
He should be, but he should be raking threads about why his player should be winning or something.
But that's the thing. I think football discussion has become us versus them as opposed to people just watching and saying, okay, this is what it is.
Is it going to be like that forever?
I don't think it has to. I don't think it's everywhere. I think specifically on the internet and ironically on a lot of podcasts, that's all
Where
it
we
is.
are, the internet and podcasts.
Yeah, but I'd like to think that the people in D&D, generally have a slightly different approach and view to it all. Because I think most of us, if Lamine won, we'd be like, sharp. He was probably the most impressive. If you just watched week to week. I think what's happened generally on the internet, and what's happened to football discourse, it's been cheapened. It's been cheapened. There's too much desire for interactions. That's why D&D is here. We're trying to bring you guys the best football discussions.
The truth.
Everywhere else, I think people are trying to point score too much or trying to prop their team as the best team of all time, of all football. And it's just that's not the point. It really isn't. The point is to just enjoy speaking about the sport that we all love. Let's hear you.
No, obviously we've got Bones with us.
Yeah.
Real football lover. I mean,
Yeah.
the Zico days.
Okay.
You're so childish.
Okay.
We're talking about someone who loves football for years. But from your perspective, Bones, like growing up a football fan versus now. Even, you get a lot of shit in the group. You don't have a hit, which you don't. You know what I'm saying? At some point, like there's a line, and we've crossed the line now. We've crossed the line where we're just watching football to see someone score so that we can push an agenda. Or to see a team lose to be like, oh, his legacy is finished. Like, is there too much... I don't want to call it Americanization. I don't want to just slander Americans for no reason. But that's
No, that's what it is.
Is there too much, like...
Yes.
Not everything's a story. Like, what's the last game you enjoyed watching, bro?
Yeah, that's a hard one.
Like, just enjoyed as in, like, yo, wow.
No, for me, it's Inter versus Barca.
Inter Barca, yeah.
Yeah,
And
that was perfect.
Yeah, actually, yeah,
it had
that
nothing,
was-
and it had nothing to do with agenda. You have no attachment to both teams.
Yeah,
Maybe
you
you
just
have
had
a
to
disliking
watch.
for Barca.
Yeah, no, both, but yeah.
But I'm saying,
still a
like,
great game.
but like it was what you saw on the day and what it gave us to talk about.
Yeah.
But then the consequence of that is after the game, we have to spend a week listening to someone says, oh, he shouldn't win the Ballon d'Or.
Yeah.
Oh, this is why Barca are frauds. What do you mean
Yeah.
they're frauds? They're one of the best teams in Europe. They just
Yeah.
lost a tie. Like,
Against a really good team.
and then Inter go on to lose the final. Then it's like, oh, you see, Barca
Barca
are
are
worse.
frauds, yeah,
Because
because
lost to
they couldn't even,
like,
yeah.
Okay. So I do think that we're currently in a hit or take culture, right? Everyone wants a hit. Everyone wants a take.
Yes, yes.
Everyone wants to be heard, whether they're worth hearing or not.
Toby, are you
everyone
listening? I'm talking to you, Doc.
Look, there's an oversaturation of commenting, of people thinking their opinion should be heard.
Yeah.
Are you
But to
saying
the
that
exact,
some oaks should just shut up? Is that what you're saying?
On the internet,
no, I mean,
definitely.
look,
I
yes,
think that.
yes,
Yes.
100%. But at the same time,
not every tweet's worthwhile.
but at the same time, it's also just like I think us becoming more discerning of what deserves that sort of attention, what should just actually just be let out into the air and let it drift and let no one else hear it again. Those are things that I think an individual just generally has to do, particularly with social media becoming as it is, and I think us looking more to social media when we even look to takes and we look for information when we talk about football. It's not necessarily just the analysts that we see on TV. There used to be like maybe 10, 15.
Everyone's a pundit now.
Exactly. And not everyone should be a pundit.
Yeah.
And also, there's also bad pundits.
Yeah.
100%. What's the Samika for?
Ah,
That's the worst guy.
I hate that
That's the
guy.
worst guy today. That's
killed-
our guy.
He's just
Why
killed
not Tim
Sammy
Sherwood?
I'm so sorry.
Oh, he could have
Anton
gone-
Sherwood. Anton
Stay
Sherwood.
there.
Could have gone so
Add
many
some
ways.
cheers.
Sammy Kufuor.
Nah, guys.
you killed our
Sammy,
guy.
Sammy, we
That's
know you
heritage.
watch the show. We love you, Sammy. We love you, Sammy.
But you know, there's no change. I don't think there's a solution to it.
No,
I
we're
think
cooked. We're cooked.
There's no solution to it.
No, I think the solution is, again, we need to ask ourselves as individuals, honestly, like, am I enjoying this? Like, what am I here for? And then if the answer is no, you can find something else to do. But tell yourself the truth so that we, the Oaks who are actually trying to enjoy it, don't have to suffer because of your discontentment, your dishonesty with yourself.
I think the issue is what you're trying to do, the people you want to address, people who versus people who listen to it. You address people who don't want to watch the sport. People who are tuned in are those
No,
who
I'm saying
are for
Oaks.
it.
I'm saying Oaks who've been watching the sport. So remember, we've arguably, not arguably, I can say it. We've watched. If we all die today, yo. Okay,
Yeah.
if something happens,
Why'd you do that?
yeah, no, sorry. I'm saying we've seen the best that football has to offer us for the time being. Genuinely, we've seen Messi and Ronaldo. Before that, the era before them, like we always talk about this generation. Like, yes, they're more athletic, they're more capable. It's not the same as Morgan Rogers is not Steven Gerrard. I had to think of an example, but I'm saying, like, okay, cool. Like, so now we're watching football knowing it's not hitting the same. It's not snapping the same. Then the guys who are actually really, really good now are being compared to guys that they never, ever, the levels they'll never reach. So again, it's almost at their disservice. Like, we're comparing the best players and we're like, oh, but when this guy was thinking he had... On the contrary, we've also got like that argument culture, that hit-take culture where it's like, he had 22 goals by the age of 22 where your GOAT had 4. Bro, football was so different back then.
Also, that by the way, just doesn't mean anything.
I'm actually just calling
like-
you out there
For
for your Ryan Giggs slander. I just want to, yeah.
I don't. You know,
You've been-
this is a 2018 discussion
I know.
that you're trying to.
And I'll never let it go.
So much has changed.
No, you've disrespected it. But
Don't-
anyways.
I'm
but-
sorry. I don't like gigs. Though.
Yeah, so that's what I'm
sorry.
saying. So now it's like we're always looking at a reference point, and there's no like congruency.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can look at the past to make a comparison, but sometimes you're holding the people who, in this current era, to a standard that is impossible to reach. And it's like, okay, cool. Now we're arguing for argument's sake. We're just
No. I hear you. I mean, even when I think of like certain, like when you look at a striker's numbers, right? Nowadays, when we think of elite strikers, they have to be 30 every season, right? Every season. Whereas back in the day, I mean, if you look at Inzaghi's numbers, I'm sure there was a season where he touched like 15.
No, even Drogba's a good example.
Even Drogba,
yeah.
even
Yeah,
Drogba.
Like it matters a lot less that he scored X amounts. Like you watched him though.
Yeah, but you
knew.
watched him and you saw him in the biggest moments and you saw him impact.
Yeah.
You saw him do what he had to do.
watch
strike.
Oaks were watching the games. Bro.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Or even someone like Diego Costa. Like at his best, I don't think did he ever win the Golden Boot?
No.
He didn't. But you knew he was. He
You
was
were-
I think he did the season they won. in
Atleti.
2013.
Nah,
did he? Wasn't Aguero?
I don't think so. You know when you can see the guy with
Might
the
not,
picture.
okay.
You know, you can
Might
see-
It's
not.
close, though.
I don't
I
know.
know
Diego
he-
But
Premier
my
Euro
point is,
2017.
he only won it once, if he did. But he was still impactful for 2 different league title wins, and that wasn't the only. It wasn't just the numbers.
No, but do
you
you
watched?
So but you remember being a kid on a Saturday. Chelsea's playing at 3. I'm tuning in to watch Chelsea, not because I'm tuning in to watch Chelsea because Diego Costa's playing, Hazard's playing. Now we watch a game like this, Yamal's playing, not to watch Yamal. Yeah, you see what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying there's not a shift that's happening. It's already happened, but like it can't. Oaks must just be honest now about why they're actually tuning in.
Yeah.
Like if you live and die by Madrid, rather just tell us.
Yeah.
Then we will judge you accordingly. Then maybe we won't take everything you have to say.
You can just mute
that
you.
seriously.
You can just mute you. You can just keep.
No, your opinion is still valid. It should
No,
be seen.
I don't think so. I don't think so. I actually don't think if you're incapable of being non-biased, your opinion is actually valid in football discussion.
No, because that takes away from, like you said, that like football. We are cultish. We are cultish,
Sometimes
yeah.
be a fan, 110%.
Yeah.
But there have to be times where we can have a conversation, and that's not the only thing that's at the root of it.
Yeah, yeah.
If the Ballon d'Or discussion is this boss player shouldn't win, and we know, like we're looking at you, it's
Yeah.
like it's because you support this team. There's really no point in us having the conversation because you don't mean it. You don't mean it. If the player played somewhere else, you'd say something else.
So what we'll do is we're gonna create a Google link. Oaks must just tell us now. Oaks must make declarations.
Yeah.
And then we will review that, and then we'll decide how seriously we take what you guys have to say. Because
Going forward.
some of you guys are clowns. I won't lie. Some of you guys and your takes are clowns, especially you who did that thread. Especially you. I'm not gonna out you now, but you know who you are. I know you're watching. Okay. I feel like I'm better now.
You cleared the
I'm lighter.
Yeah.
So now
Can we talk about the big thing?
now we can go back to doing what we do best.
Yes.
I know. Okay, you started off because I've done a lot of the connecting and stuff like that. So I'll hand it over to you. Let's talk now.
At the start of every season, everyone thinks their team gets better. Everyone thinks that you're just a little bit closer to whatever goal it is your team would have had. Doesn't even matter what actually happens, but you believe it. Every team starts in 0. If you win the first game by not larger than margin, you go top. Even if you play on the Friday, that one game, if you win 1-0, you're top. And that can't be taken away from you. How do you guys feel about Manchester United in the new season?
You want to go first?
To be honest, I'm not sure what to expect. I have hopes. I do believe in Amram long term. I think he came into a very, very precarious situation, and I think he dealt with it in a way that I respect. I think he was always head on. He didn't duck any fades, which was, I think, maybe that was just refreshing, a refreshing change from Ten Hag.
Yeah.
You know, because Ten Hag was
You
always
kept blaming Garnacho's offside goal.
yo.
Nah, but I feel for him, bro. I watched that the other day. Nah, we were winning it all that year. No. They robbed us. No, I actually stand with Ten Hag, bro. That goal.
But like just him as how he's conducted himself since he's been on board. I don't like how many interviews he's had, but because I've taken the time to listen to a lot of them and listen to what he's saying, a lot of he doesn't lie. Like he's always very upfront about what is happening. Like I have a a vision. The players need to we don't really have a lot of training sessions, so I'm not sure how to implement this vision as quickly as possible. It's going to take time. There are players that don't really fit this vision, but they're here, so we have to make something work, right? Now with the pre-season coming in, trying to get some players in and out, and players generally, I think they've all been given specialized training regimes.
First time ever at United, apparently. Crazy stuff.
Which is a bit absurd. But
Yeah.
again, I think he's changing a lot foundationally, and that takes a lot. And when we talk about change in management, it's never easy. Particularly at the scale that we're talking about.
Yeah.
And people also don't really always appreciate how the scope that is on United and the scope that players have to deal with, regardless of when things are good or bad.
Yeah.
So how he's handled himself, given that scope, and what he's trying to do, and how sort of extensive those changes have been, I can only hope that time and commitment to the project, because really you need the players to buy in.
Yeah.
That 2-3 minutes in a game where they're not really focused on what's going on because they're not really locked into the plan, they don't believe in the plan, that will destroy everything. I was seeing that a lot this season. Those little moments where, you don't press when you should press, and then it's a trickle effect. So I think when everyone gets aligned with that vision, that purpose, we'll start to see something a little bit more consistent. How good it'll be, how effective it'll be, how quickly we'll start to see that effectiveness, I'm not sure. But I do think we will improve from last season. Really, the only way is up. And I'm also quite optimistic about
There
Cunha.
we go. Optimism. That's what I want to hear.
I'm optimistic
That's what
about
I want
Cunha,
for you guys.
because, yeah, he was actually a supporter of United, so I think that will root him in a lot of what?
Very much a raised eyebrow.
I'll speak soon. With no filter.
Okay, yeah. I think he'll be very committed to the cause, and really we need him to be, because, but also Mbuemo and whatever. But I think Cunha, I don't know. I think he'll be very integral to this project, at least in its immediate phase. But yeah, I do think we'll have a better season than last season. I don't know how good, but I am optimistic that we'll see improvements.
Okay. Life without MR10. Any major thoughts there?
MR10, bro. Yeah.
Yeah.
YBG done. No,
it's
I'm not
done.
calling you that, dog.
He's
I'm not
MR10,
calling you
bro.
that, dog.
That's MR10. Don't forget
MR10.
it.
I'm not
Don't
calling
forget
you that, dog.
Look, it's sad that he's leaving. I won't put, like, I always love Rashford. I respect him. He was there
And the lights were off.
Hey, bro. And he did what he had to do for the club at a point in time. Yeah, okay. Some things went down, but I mean, the environment around him wasn't great either. So it's hard to put it on him, I think, fully by himself. Yes, there are elements to that, but
So
I wish him I wish him the best of luck. I want him to do well. I don't like Barca, so I don't really like the fact that he's going to Barca, but I like that he's going to a good club. And hopefully he'll kick on.
I'm curious, does how he does reflect at all on Amorim in your guys' eyes, or you complete divorce from one another?
You mean Marcus Rashford?
Yeah.
Not necessarily Amarim, but more the club, because it's the club that have pushed him out. There's a part of me that deep down thinks that Amarim was part of the deal was we're going to get him out of this club, and you're going to be the voice of that, of getting him out. But I don't think that, because Amarim played him when he started at Man United, and then just stopped. I think his last game was against Everton when we won 4-0, and I believe Rashford scored in that game.
Yeah.
So it's not as if there were Rashford problems when he arrived at the club.
I didn't Rashford score in his first game as well against Ipswich, or you set it up.
He set it up.
Yeah.
I think he set
No,
it
I
up.
mean, he had good moments when he started.
Yeah, so I genuinely think that Amarim was set up to push him out the club. I don't think Amarim hates Rashford, but it was more like, okay, cool, if you can help us get him out of the club and off the wage bill, we'll back you. I think that's genuinely my belief.
Okay.
I don't want to go too much into conspiracies.
Yeah, for
But-
I think you're right.
but
I
I'm saying,
do think
yeah,
it was
yeah,
above.
it was definitely above Amarim. But look, I hope he goes on to do well, because he's still a good player. But like when you're 27, turning 28, like it's not time to be a good player. Like you need to be a good. people can't believe you're a good player. Like when Mo Salah was 28, we didn't believe he was a good player. He was showing us he was a good player.
Like it was just
and
plain,
has done
plain
so
the
for the
evidence.
last 6 years. You know what I'm saying? So that's on him now. It's on him to become like a Sadio Mane where you're going to deliver on that flank wherever you are for X amount of time. Like it's on him. If he does that, like, okay, cool, we lost a good player. But if he does the on and off thing where he finds form and loses it and can't get his head right, then it's like, okay, cool, maybe we didn't lose out.
Yeah.
As that much. But back to Bones' soliloquy, I want to make it clear, I don't disagree with anything he said. But you know me. I'm a man for caveats. I'm a man for the finer details.
Yeah.
What's not seen behind what's said.
Yeah.
I just want to make it clear that so you spoke about how Amarim has a vision, right? We can't lose sight of asking, is it the right vision? Should we just back him because he has a vision? Open-ended question. I'm not expecting an answer now. You mentioned player buy-in. That is, towards the end of the season, I think one of the standout things that I saw is that I don't believe he's got a lot of player buy-in from the current Manchester United squad. I think they know that their performance levels could be better in a system that they're more comfortable in. And then the contrary argument would be, well, you shouldn't be catering to what they're comfortable in. You should follow the manager. Again, goes back to the first thing. Like, is this the right vision? Is Amarim at his best? Like, how high is that ceiling? That's what I fear. Like, I don't think that ceiling is actually that high. I think that ceiling is like just below the elite teams forever.
So it's just the top four
Forever.
team.
You don't become a winning entity like that. You don't sustain. In my heart of hearts, I want Amarim to do the best he can. We will know when Amarim has hit his cap. That'll be there to see. On the way he speaks and the honesty. Again, I don't disagree with you that it was good. We needed honesty because Ten Hag he started hallucinating. He started Ten Hag. First he was a straight talker, then he was a shit talker, and he just stayed as a shit talker till his last day. Till his last day, he was just talking shit, right? So cool. The manager comes in with that refreshing honesty. But you and I have had our back and forths about this. There's a way to play the managerial game, and the managerial game does not demand 100% honesty 100% of the time. The very best have shown us this era after era, club after club. You don't just say what you think all the time in every interview for 9 months. You don't do that. That's not the way to manage a football club as the voice of the club. I was so happy when he gave the speech at Old Trafford because I was like, for once, dog, give Oak something to believe in. Not every day doom and gloom. Not every day headline.
Time for us to suffer.
Not every day headline. Not every day things are going to be bad, Oaks. Even at Spawn, that's your job. Imagine your boss every day. Bones, today we're going to suffer. Dog, not today. Next week, it's fine. Just give us something. So I was saying, you have to play the managerial game, right? Which is why I was such a big Arteta proponent in the beginning. I was one of Arteta's biggest fans when he got there because he was playing the game right. He knew what to say, when to say it. Then you back the vision. Then you're like, okay, cool, he speaks right. Yes, Arsenal lost the game, but he knew how to smooth things over. Then the player buy-in came in, and then the football followed. But you knew the manager was pulling us in this direction.
Yeah.
I feel like, you know that meme where the one guy's pulling this way and the three Oaks pulling... that's what feels like happening at Man United.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Now you're getting rid of the entitled, the lazy, the overpaid. Cool. The core of that squad, I still don't think he's got 100% buy-in from them.
Yeah.
And then I would say the last thing is my biggest issue is not going to be like Man United will win more football games. There'll be less football to play. There'll be more time to train, whatever. My issue is that I still think that Man United are going to be a club for the majority of the season waiting for things to click. And the reason I don't accept that is because I think you and I have spoken about this, about like I'm a big fan of what Aston Villa have done over the last 4 years, Newcastle, where you play to your strengths.
Yeah.
And I don't think Amarim, at this stage of his managerial career, with this Man United squad, is playing to anyone's strengths other than his own. So Newcastle have built a very solid
Heritage
base.
Premier League team.
Yeah, a very very solid base based on strength, physicality, P&P, if you will.
Yeah.
But like that's who they are. They've built that identity. Not because Eddie Howe is a P&P manager. That's not who he was at Bournemouth. But he's playing to the strengths of the club, and he's worked around that to build a very good Newcastle side.
Yeah.
What Emery did, Emery had his strength in terms of getting teams to play a certain way, but then he realized, okay, the Premier League is a bit different. I need really fast wingers. I've got a very good goal scoring thing. I've got midfielders that can drive the ball. Now they play to their strengths. Nottingham Forest, after signing 1 billion players, finally settled on a squad of about 30, started getting like away, and you get results like that.
Yeah.
And I'm not what I'm not going to accept anymore is this idea that you need to wait for results.
Yeah.
I don't accept that. That's what I'm very, 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 very adamant about that, because I've seen people come in. You've seen people come in and do jobs. You've seen people come in and win Champions Leagues, like winning. I'm not expecting Man United to win the Premier League. I'm not saying that. But he was taking the same players that Ten Hag was beating teams with and losing to those teams with the same players, because he wasn't playing to anyone's strengths. Other than, so then it's like, okay, but he's got a vision. It's going to change. Why the future? Win today, no, and not win at all costs. But like, if your plan A isn't working, that's what's my issue with Amorim. Plan A wasn't working, and he's shown no signs of a plan B. And okay, cool. It was the middle of the season. You have to back the manager. I'm not gonna sit by this season and watch us stick to plan A for some long-term vision, bro. I promise you, because that'll be nonsense. I genuinely think that'll be nonsense, and we'll end up being genuinely mediocre if we continue to be like, okay, the vision, the belief, get him his players. Football doesn't work like that anymore, bro. Amorim, and again, I'm not trying to pile on him. I'm giving reasons why I'm not fully sold. And what's our favorite saying from the Gab and Jill show? When facts change, opinions change.
Yes.
The minute the facts change and we're fourth and we're cruising, cool. Put me on the podcast and I'll say what you got. But now, based off the last season, based off the way we lost the Europa League final, where we knew if we conceded first it was over.
Yeah. Ridiculous.
So that's what I'm saying about Amorim. So, and I think, do you think Amorim has shown you anything to believe that he could get Newcastle to fourth next season?
No.
Do you?
Go ahead.
Newcastle.
Yeah. Could he take another very good squad in the Premier League now with very good players already? Because isn't it we have a personnel issue? It's a players. So has
If
he
he was
shown you?
Newcastle coach, do you think he'd finish
if he
fourth?
was
That's the question.
Do you think if Eddie Howe was the Man United manager last season, taking over from Ten Hag in November, we would have finished 15th?
No.
That's my thing with Amorim. It's evidence time now,
Yeah.
not talking time.
100%. And what you guys have done there, you've done very nicely. You've highlighted everything wrong with him, everything that's good with him, right? I think for me, the only reason I don't think, I'd like to think I'm somewhere in the middle, like in relation to where you guys are. I think you guys will be okay. Whether or not okay is enough is a different conversation, right? Like obviously there's this idea of what United should be versus what you have to try and become before you're that team again. I think that's how I see you guys right now. I think you've suffered so much that you actually can't do this thing of like, okay, we get this coach, and then when he does so well, we're going to win the league. I don't think that's what happens with you guys. I think what you said earlier about what his ceiling is, like just being just outside the elites, I think unfortunately United need to get to the point where there's just a solid base that leaves you at that point in time, and the next coach moves you forward. I don't think that there can be a coach who would want to come to United who is so good, so talented, and so determined that he comes in and he just waits and says, I'm going to grow with this team and grow and grow and grow and get to that point. I think right now Amorim brings stability, he brings certainty, he brings...
Certainty?
In his ideas, at least.
Okay.
Just in his ideas. Whether or not those ideas are the best ideas for the squad or for United as a whole, different conversation. But he brings something that Ten Hag abandoned in, Match Week 3 during his reign. Right? There was an idea of Ajax football, and immediately he said,
Can't do that here.
Long day.
I don't got the
day.
He got slapped off by Brent, but he said there's no Ajax here.
Yeah.
He said, I'm not Ajax. He said, I'm here with new players, so I have to make this work here. And the fact that Amorim seemingly can't do that is scary, and I don't think it's a good thing. That he's like this inflexible. It's something I often criticize Arteta for, that like it can't just be this way and nothing else. Because it's too easily undone, right? And you guys have seen that best. Like if a player gets injured and suddenly one player moves back to this, and then the knock-on effect is just that you're just nowhere near as effective as you could be with the players that you have. I believe that because Amorim, in theory, knows how to change a culture of a team. Because the thing that you'd been saying before Ten Hag even stepped in, I think it was still under Ole, where he said the next coach has a serious coaching job to do. Bones spoke about the fact that there are now these individualized programs for the players. The fact that wasn't the norm beforehand. That's coming with Amorim. That's coming with the new ownership. I think for what I believe United currently are, a team trying to rebuild from top to bottom, speaking about the new stadium, the different ways in which everything's going to operate, it ultimately means that if you're able to temper your expectations, United have all the reason in the world to be positive about not ever being as bad as they have been. And that's in different ways. That's 7-2 loss, 7-1 loss to Liverpool.
7-0.
I promise you that was sincere. I forgot.
Now you're waffling now.
No, I forgot.
But anyways,
I promise you. But my point is, I think the various lows United have had that have been so far from what they should be, I think those are behind you. I think a coach that can guarantee that when he leaves, whenever that time comes, you won't think that the next coach, fuck, what if we go back? And to be the coach that gets you there is its own success. It just won't be the success that United think that they should have. And you guys are right to be upset about that. I think it's one of those things where over time you look back and be like, okay, we understand why he was the guy. And maybe you have an appreciation for him just as a result. You will be much more successful after he leaves, but maybe you'll be able to thank him for the time he put in.
In closing, because we do have to wrap up now, I hope that's the case. That's what I want. I'm harsh on Amorim, sometimes against him, but I would love it. I will love it if we can do something this season. Just give me something to cling on to. I will absolutely love it, and I will be there. Then that's what I'm saying. I'll come on the show, and we can assess it then. And we can talk about where I was versus where I am then. But until then, if we're still going to wait for things to click and we're still going to have to deal with a lot, then I will be vocal, and you will hear from me, and I will continue putting the pressure on him.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was United. That means in our next episode, we can talk about other teams. Liverpool building a dynasty. Arsenal still don't have a striker. Maresca might challenge for the league. Pep got his goal back, so he's going for 100 points. But yeah, off-season, that was a good one.
Yeah.
Gents,
I'm so excited for league. This is great. One last thought. Lads, this is the year. I promise you.
This guy does this every year.
Every
year on the show, he pulls out the shirt.
This is the year.
Yeah, no,
I promise you.
Every year he pulls out a shirt.
If at any point in time you lost faith, it's been tough. Arsenal fans, I know. This is our time. You see this kid,
If he believed so much, he would have won the jersey.
This is
not
the one.
For the end of the
I'm on leave, brother. I can't be wearing football tops now.
It's a wrap.
I'm done.
Thank you for tuning in. Be sure to like and subscribe, share with your friends, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Peace.